the recording. Cool. So, Cairo, thanks. So, I'm pretty excited because today is like a day where we're going to talk about using another piece of gear in the studio that a lot of people have, and this can also be using your phone as well. You can do the same thing with your iPhone or your iPad. Now, a lot of you in SAE, you already have iPads. I hope all of you still have your iPads. If not, we can talk about it. But if you don't have your iPad, you probably have a phone. You've either got a iPhone or an Android phone, and they probably work very similarly. As far as phones go, I didn't sell it if you didn't sell it, right? I'm definitely an Apple guy. I've been in the Apple ecosystem pretty much my whole life. Not that I have anything against Android phones or even PCs for that matter. I've just never owned one myself. So we're going to be talking about everything in terms of iOS and using that with your computer and stuff. And there's a few different steps to this whole thing. Now, one thing that we're not going to have today is the Tony's notes. I don't think that there are any, Tony's notes that cover the iPad. Maybe I made one, but off the top of my head, I'm not sure if it's something that's in, let's see here, that is in your notes or not. Hold on, let me just look over here, go to teaching. And in here, I don't think there is anything in here. So we're kind of deviating from Tony's notes right now. And unfortunately, I ran into a bit of an issue when I was setting this stuff up over the weekend where I can't broadcast the sound to my computer and at the same time show you my screen directly. There is a way, and the way I do this in class when we're in the actual classroom is I can have my iPad be something that you see on the computer monitor, and you can just see it. And I can like write notes on it, I can use my pencil on it and stuff like that, and it works really, really well. But if I'm sorry, Eric, just piping in here. Make sure that if you have any questions, you contact Eric. The link is right there. If I try to have the audio running into my computer and the video running into the computer, it crashed everything. So I can't do that, unfortunately, right now. So I decided that what I would do today, and we can maybe take a look at this maybe later on or tomorrow or something, is to show you one at a time. So what I'm doing is, as you can see here, let's see what screen am I showing you right now? Sorry, because I've got everything a little bit here. Let's put this up here, boop, in this mode here. So what you can see is, oh, you're good, Eric. What you can do is you can see here the iPad is here, and hopefully you can see the screen well enough to get through the lesson today and to kind of like be able to learn how to use it a little bit better. If not, you can always ask me questions. Save the questions up for the end. What I'm going to do is at the end of each 1 hour break, we're going to take the last like five minutes to answer questions, 5-10 minutes to answer questions at the end of each little 1 hour, 50-minute section here. But so I've got my iPad here and I've got the audio running into my computer. So for example, if I hit play, y'all can hear that all right? Yeah, groovy. It's very, very groovy. Sam F, thanks, man. Sam F, boop. All right, so that's just, I've got that going into my OBS software. And if you've been following along with how that all works, I'm gonna show you how that all works here with the iPad and how to get that going into your software if you are interested in that kind of stuff. But really what we're gonna be doing is we're gonna be talking about how to get this into Ableton Live, because there's a lot of really cool things we can do with this. So And I've been doing this. A little funny story about me. I'm a nerd. I said it. I'm not afraid to say it again. I'm a nerd. All right. Do I got you? I got you. So, basically, the day the iPad was first released, what was that, 2010, 2012? I don't remember. But literally, the day it came out, I went and bought one because there had been a program. Yeah, really, big surprise there. There was a program. Yeah, basically y'all are all nerds too. Y'all are at music engineering school. So basically there's a program called TouchOSC, and that had been out for the iPhone for a while, and it allows you to make your own controller to control software and keyboards and stuff like that. And I never got it for the iPhone because I didn't think the iPhone was big enough to make it useful. It was like you could, have a couple things on there or whatever. It wasn't that cool for me. But what the potential of it was cool, but having it on the iPad was not cool. So I never got TouchOSC with just the iPhone. And as soon as the iPad came out, I wasn't gonna get one, but I was living in New Jersey at the time, and I went to the store just to check it out, and I put my hands on it and I touched it, and I was like, nope, I need one. And it was in New Jersey, so they hadn't sold out of them. They still had them there in stock, even though it was the first day it was released. So I got it. I couldn't help it. And I immediately started doing a lot of stuff with it. And I was actually doing these online videos. At the time, I was working part-time for Dubspot. When Dubspot was still a thing, I was doing some stuff at Dubspot. And so I had videos, and you can still find them, actually. I guess the Dubspot YouTube channel is still a thing. Let's see. Tony Grund iPad. Yeah, there you go. 58,000 views. Boom. 108,000 views. Yeah. So, I'm like slightly YouTube famous. It is still there. Yeah, they had a few of them. But if you want to learn about the TouchOSC stuff, actually, here we go. It's a 4-part video tutorial. It's got me being like, oh, blonde hair. Wow, blonde hair. Tony with blonde hair. That's hilarious. So let me get a few. Young Tony. Yeah, young rounder Tony. When was this? This was 10 years ago. Wow. Yep. Almost exactly 10 years ago. Wow, that's funny. That video was taken almost exactly 10 years ago, like 2 months away. So let's see here. Wait, let me get a couple names. John Cree. Cool. Who else came in here? Andrew Cardona. There we go. That's who Andrew Cardona. Sweet. Cool. Yeah. So this video, these 4 intro videos are actually talking about how to set up your iPad with TouchOSC. And it talks about all the stuff that you need to do to set up the MIDI and everything. And that's something we can actually go into if you watch the video and you want to know more information about it. Well, here I am. I'm the guy who made the video. I'm like the guy behind the guy. Except I'm not. I'm actually the guy. So I'm not sure how that works, but actually I'm pretty sure how that works. So I'm going to get rid of this screen here off my computer. And so we got our thing here. So first things first, you need an iPad. Boom, iPad. Oh, there's an iPad right there. I need to keep this open here for a second so I can just see what it looks like when I'm touching the iPad. I think, there it is, iPad. Cool, all right. So we got our iPad here, and let me get the text. You remember? Oh yeah, yeah, that's right. Yeah, you were teaching back then too. Yeah, when I showed up with the iPad, I forgot. We're a couple of old man teachers. Yeah. And you've got one too. Like I finally, John, when did you finally jump on the iPad boat? Oh, right. And I remember actually we were going to try to get it so John can talk. We should do that. You know what? During the break, I'm going to try to figure out how I can get John in so he can talk as well. And so we can both talk at you. I think that's a good idea. We can use like Zoom or something. I can call him on the phone. I can't get my phone into my audio. Yeah, I think the best way is 2015. Oh, wow. So you've had it for a while now, 5 years. I think what I'll do is I'll get like a Zoom thing going. And if John, if you have headphones, we won't have any feedback issues if you have headphones like I have here. So we'll talk about it during the break and see if we can't get that to be a thing. I think that's a really good idea. Oh, you're on the iPad now. Oh, sweet. Okay, cool. That's pretty neat. Yeah, so maybe we can zoom in on the phone and then we can get the iPad and then let's see how that works. Anyway, let's see. There might be some weird feedback issues, I'm thinking, or lag. There's probably going to be lag issues. Yeah. Oh, well, we'll talk about it. So this is the iPad, and right now I've got GarageBand up and running. And so the first thing you need is you actually need an iPad. Duh, right? And then the next thing you'll need is a cable to connect up. And you can see here I've got a cable, and my cable is connected to the iPad. I don't want to move things around too much because I don't want it to be, I don't want to have to move it back. And the cable is connected to the back of my computer. So I've got all this stuff set up. It's connected to the back of my computer. I've got my iPad running into things. And then on the computer side, you need to go into, let me switch this screen here, desktop, boop. Let's see, I can put that down there so it's not feeding back on the screen. You need to go into your program, audio cable. No, it's not an audio cable. It's just the cable that connects it USB. So the cable that comes with it, basically. Just plug it into the back of your computer. With your iPad comes with what they call the lightning bolt cable. My iPad is a USB-C cable. So yeah, the lightning cable. Yeah, you're absolutely right, Lincoln Hearts. So, and also, what is your Thomas Lopez? Okay, cool. All right, yeah. And so in my case, Agent Orange, you say USB-C. Yeah, you're the lightning one. USB-C. Are you working with an iPad Pro, Agent Orange? John, I should say John. And you have a PC. That's fine, but you still have the iPad, right? I mean, yeah, and yeah, so you all have, well, it depends on what you have iPad-wise. So some people, Joanna's saying, didn't we all get the same cables for our iPads? Well, yes, you should have gotten the same cables for your iPads, but I'm working with an iPad Pro. And if somebody has an iPad Pro, if you're like a super uber nerd, if you're not just like level 1 of nerdiness, but you're like level 10 and you're constantly leveling up, then you might have an iPad Pro. And if you don't have it yet, then once you have a good solid cash inflow happening again after this whole mess is over, then maybe you might want to consider getting an iPad Pro, because iPad Pros are really cool. It's true. You can't afford to be that nerdy. Not yet. Not yet. Yeah. No, I understand. It's yeah, one nerd piece at a time, right? One nerd piece at a time. So yeah, the iPad Pro takes a USB-C cable instead of the Lightning cable. So if you have the Lightning cable, if you have the regular iPad, the one you got from school, which is still a dope piece of machinery, then you're going to have the Lightning cable. And then you're going to plug that into the back of your computer. Now, all this stuff we're about to talk about, RJ, unfortunately does not really apply to you because you're on a PC, but there's probably a similar way to do it. So what you would do is you'd look up somebody talking about how to connect this stuff up on a PC. What I'm going to talk about is how to do this on a Mac computer. So, what do we got? Cool, yeah. I know. I would give you a tissue to dry your tear, but I need all my tissues over here. Sorry. So what we're going to do first is on your Apple machine, you're going to go into your applications folder and okay, cool. Windows 10. I don't know much about Windows, so I don't know what that. I mean, it's the 10th version of Windows, or they're just copying Mac OS 10. So in here, in our applications folder on a Mac, let me switch my screen over. Oh wait, is it? Hold on. Sorry, I'm only using one monitor today. Yeah, it's already switched over. So, right, Kilo, you're right, but we're not talking about transferring stuff over. Stop. Slow down, buddy. Slow your roll. Don't you go there. We're not there. We're not even talking about there. I'm doing something completely different. All right? You just chill there, son. Chill. Chill. Yes. No, it's probably not it, RJ. You could probably do more. I bet you can do more. There's got to be some way to do it. And as a matter of fact, I'll try to look it up at some point and see if I can't help you to do that. But for now, what I want you to do is, not you, but everybody else who has a Mac. In your applications folder, you've got these utilities here. And if we open up the utilities, inside utilities, we have audio MIDI setup. Now, audio MIDI setup is something you may have already talked about at school on the iMacs that we have at school. Ryan or whoever your teacher was last mod may have shown it to you. Audio MIDI setup is super, super, super important. It's so important, as a matter of fact, that I have it down here in my toolbar. Right, so that's how important it is. I have it down here in my toolbar. So when you open up your audio MIDI setup, if it shows you this window here, your MIDI studio, sometimes it comes up. Wait, Joanna, you are running Windows or Mac? You're running Windows or Mac? If you're running Mac, then you definitely have it. I mean, unless you moved it out of that folder for some reason, which you could have just put it in your regular folder, but it shows up in the utilities folder. So make sure that you open up your applications folder, and then in the applications folder you go to utilities. And then in utilities, it's inside here, right here. And see if that's it. Now, if it's not there, then maybe it got put in your regular applications folder, which would just be a mistake. Somebody did that by accident or something. If you can't find it there, what you should do is open up a window and do a search here in the upper right-hand corner. Yeah, search for it in the audio MIDI. And go to name matches audio MIDI, hit enter, and it should show up right here. So do a search for it here, and then see if you've got it, because you definitely should have. Oh, you found it! Yay! Awesome, cool. All right. Oh, you're welcome. And also thank you to Thomas, right? Lincoln Hearts. That's your Thomas. Yes, Thomas. Cool. All right, so we've got our audio MIDI setup. Now, when you first open it up, it might actually show you this screen right here, which is your MIDI setup screen. You should have talked about that when you were talking about Pro Tools in the beginning of Pro Tools, and that's definitely in the Tony's notes. But what we're going to talk about today is actually in the Audio Devices window. So we're going to go in here to Audio Devices. And in here, your iPad should show up. Sorry, no, wait, before that, sorry. Your iPad will show up down here. My iPad is called that. My phone is called this. My iPad is called that. And it'll say enable. So what you want to do is you want to enable this inter-device audio. And right now mine says disable, right? But pretend like that says enable. I don't want to disable it right now because I don't want to mess things up. But make sure you click on this where it says, here it'll say enable. And when it says enable, then it will show up right here. Now, what this does is it basically turns your iPad into an audio interface device for your computer. So your computer will see it as an audio interface, which is pretty darn cool. That means now we can use it as an input for things like Ableton Live, which is super, super cool. And Kilo, you're about to see why I'm not just talking about transferring stuff over. Although transferring is very valid, and we're going to talk about transferring later, I don't want to talk about transferring right now because I want to show you this really way. You could go with this, or you could go with that. Or you could go with this, or you could go with that. Exactly. Yep. Yep. Cool. All right. I just thought it's funny because whenever it like comes in as like a Wi-Fi thing, it just says connect to this, connect to that. That's why I did it. Ha 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 ha. It's like dad joke, ultimate stupid silly dad joke. All right. So this is basically what we want to set up right here is this audio devices. And you can see I've got all my audio device stuff set up over here. But that's basically what we need. Now, I'm going to go ahead and close out of my audio MIDI setup. And now at this point, any program that you want to record into or you want to have playing along with it, then you would pull up the preferences for that. Hold on, let me just get Nick here. Cool. Sweet. All right. So I'm going to show you an Ableton Live right here. I go into my preferences in Ableton Live, and for those of you who are following along on your computer, there's a shortcut is Command Comma. Joanna says, could I hook up my video game controller using the same method? No. I'm sorry, hook up your video game controller to what? What are you hooking it up? What do you want to do with the video game controller, I guess, is a better question. Like, what are you trying to do with it? You want to hook it to the computer, right? So it can be used as an interface. A video game controller as an interface. As a mouse. World of Warcraft and stuff like that. Yeah, for sure. So Kilo's saying, you're saying, wow, you mean World of Warcraft? Is that what you're talking about? And then as a mouse, or to play video games easier. Okay, so right. So the answer is, it depends on your game controller. If you have like a PS4 game controller or you have an Xbox game controller, the answer is yes, but it does it through Bluetooth, not through the same method. It's a different method. So it's not anything to do with the audio MIDI setup. The reason why I was wondering what you were talking about, because that's like super, super far off topic. But you can actually use a game controller, especially the Wii controller. If you had a Nintendo Wii, you could use a Wii controller for controlling your MIDI stuff. There's actually the program TouchOSC, which I'm going to show you here in a little bit, actually has a Wii input thing. So if you can like turn the Wii here left and right, and you can like push the buttons, and you can actually use that to trigger MIDI events in things like Ableton Live or Logic or stuff like that. And yeah, it's insane. It's like, I mean, it is pretty cool. It's a whole nother level of nerd. It's like a totally different level of nerd. And you can be sure that at one point in time, I absolutely went there and I totally set up stuff and I totally did live shows with my Wii controller. And no, I mean, imagine a live show and the DJ pulls out the Wiimote. This guy. Yo, this guy. Absolutely, I did it. Of course I did it. I don't know if it's cool or not. Joanne, I'm not sure that if I agree with you. Yeah, but I did it like, I don't know if y'all are familiar with pianos in the Lower East Side in New York. For years, like 6 or 7 years, I had a weekly party in the back room at pianos. They had this like stage in the back there, and you can fit maybe 100 people in there or whatever. And every Saturday night from midnight until 4 a.m., we used to have these raging parties back there. And they were oftentimes just packed full of people getting drunk, and we were playing like the just most hands in the air house music. This is back in like 2009, 2010, something like that. And one of the things I used to do was I used to control my computer with my iPad or with the Wiimote. It was pretty nerdy. It was pretty nerdy. Anyway, these are things you can do. Yeah, next level. So going back to the iPad. So we got that, and then inside of Ableton Live, what you want to do is you want to go into your audio input device and select. So what will happen is iPad will show up in the list at this point. So you just have iPad here as your input device, and there's nothing to configure. It's just stereo inputs and the mono inputs here. You don't have to name them. You can name them if you want, but whatever. You can go in here and say stereo iPad stereo. You know, whatever. But you don't necessarily have to. And then I'm using, like I've mentioned in a couple of videos, I'm using OBS software here. And OBS software, I've got my settings here. And the audio settings, my audio 3 is my iPad. And then if I go in here and I click on advanced here, advanced audio properties down here at the bottom, then I've got this set for monitor and output. So we can hear it all at the same time. Everybody's very happily hearing my iPad when I hit play. I haven't hit play yet. So you have to make sure you have everything set up properly for this iPad to be going. And I think that is everything on here. And if I go into my Ableton Live, what I'd do is I'd make this track and I'd say iPad in, like that. And now we'll be able to hear the iPad. Let me go ahead, actually, let me open up my OBS settings, and I'm going, wait, not that, sorry, down here. And I'm going to mute the iPad so we don't hear it for now. Cool. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit play on this. And if I... And y'all should be able to hear that. My cool little beat. What? Yeah. What? Okay. So there you go. Now, if I wanted to record that in for whatever reason, I can record that in. But actually, before we record that in, let's see, do they have the... They don't have it set up on here, I think. I've never actually used GarageBand for Ableton Link. So I'm pretty sure we're not going to see it here. But let me, since we got that going here, let me just go ahead and get my other screen set up. Boop. So we can see the iPad. So now let's go ahead and take a look at the iPads. That's the computer side of things. And the iPad side of things is, you know, same-ish. There's not a whole lot extra to do on here. Just got to find something you want to play. So just make sure. Cool. Okay, so on here, I'm gonna go and look at my iPad, and I can see here, you can see my screen, you can see all the stuff I've got on my iPad, and we can see my beats, and I've got a whole bunch of different things for making music on the iPad. I don't really make that much music on the iPad, but every now and then I feel like I am going to make music on the iPad, and then I buy some stuff, especially like around the holidays when everything goes on sale, and then I spend like $100 on apps, and then I never use it for stuff. I mean, I've actually got like some pretty expensive apps in here that I bought over the years, like this Lemur app right here. That one is like $50 or something like that. I've got in here, I've got, where is it? Is it at the end? No, that is the end. I have Cubasis, I have Beatmaker 3, I've got the Animoog, which is pretty cool. I've got IMS 20, these are only the IVCS 3, N-Track, IMPC Pro, some various stuff over here. And Egoist, iMachine, K-Oscillator, this one's pretty fun. Oh, this is gonna be sideways. Let's see, why are we not hearing anything in here? Well, so why didn't they make it so it makes sense? But yeah, I'm not sure why we're not hearing anything. Oh, I got it. Oof, get out of here. Nobody wants a sideways app. There we go. And let's see, what happens if I hit that? Oh, that's because GarageBand's open. So I'm gonna go ahead and close GarageBand for now, for a second. And we're gonna open up this. I muted the iPad. Did I mute the iPad? Oh, I did mute the iPad. No, but I still got it running through my external in Ableton Live. So hold on, let me turn off this. Let's see here. Let's go in here to Egoist. So this is a program. Yeah, cool. So we can hear that. It's coming through Ableton Live. Now, what I want to do is I want to get the iPad and Ableton Live playing in time. So if I go ahead, I've got this here. This is a cool program. I can talk about this here in a second. But if I go in here, and I'm just going to hit my metronome here, and I've got my metronome in Ableton Live. And I know you can't see this live screen very big right now, because I want to show you, well, you know what, actually, here, let's make the computer bigger. Here we go. So I'm going to set this to record, monitor set to auto, hit go here, and I'm going to hit go. Okay, so we can hear it's like off for my tempo. Now I just record, sorry, I'm like not used to hitting stop on both things. And so I could go in here into my Ableton Live. Yep, cool. I can go in here to my Ableton Live, and I can warp things. I've got things in here set for warp, and let's go ahead and just grab a little bar right here. Let me just hit play. Cool. Okay, and it sounds like it was at 120 because this loop is perfect. And I'm going to set this one to 1 to 1. All the stuff we talked about before, nothing has, like I haven't stopped utilizing techniques that I learned with Ableton Live, right? Like we're still utilizing techniques in Ableton Live. And now, Khalil, cool. Right, so everything still works in here. And if I slow it down, right? So I can slow it down, I can speed it up. I can do all that stuff, okay? Here, Khalil, hold on one second. Let me get you on the roll here. Yeah, cool. B. Sweetness. This is, oh. Save as, I saved that into the wrong place. Let's do, hold on one second, let me just fix this real quick before I, oh, oops. hold on, let me, did I do that wrong? I probably did that wrong. There we go. Okay, this is the one I want. Restore this one. Sorry, I just wanted to do that before I forgot. I think it's still, I don't know, whatever. So, sorry, 1 second here while I just get this stuff going. Khalil, okay, that's why I looked at that. All right. So, okay, so we got this here. Let me just go ahead and throw in a drum beat real quick. Drums. Let's just get a... Okay, whatever, here, we'll use this one here. And that. Boom. Cool. All right, so we got that there. Now, what I want to do is I want to actually get the iPad. I've got this loop here, and I could just record some more loops in here. If I click on this, I can go down here to my user ones, and in here I can, you know, grab some different things that I've got here, and I can record some stuff in. And you can hear it's a little bit off. But once I stick it in here and I warp it, I can make it so it's the right tempo. And I think this is like, whoops, wait, what happened? Why are you not? Oh, I know why. Oop. There we go, this is why. So you can hear how it's real easy just to make it like lock right into the tempo there. Once I grab like a loop or something like that, and I can just grab this one here and throw it over there. All right, and you can easily get some really cool things off of your iPad into your computer like this. And I actually prefer to have everything set up like this rather than dragging and dropping stuff back and forth, because I can just quickly get things loaded in. And I'm going to show you some really cool stuff with this program here and some other programs. But what we're going to do right now is we're going to take a break and let, yeah, John, I think, yeah, I'm not surprised that you like this stuff. It is pretty cool stuff. But we're going to take a break real quick and be back in like 10 minutes. So be back here at 3 o'clock. All right, y'all? Cool. Thanks. See you in a bit. Let's see. Stop recording now.